makes me feel fine. Blowing to the jasmine.
Just Judas.
Jerry, I see you. What up?
Let's get it. Hit 'em. I done seen people that talk about God, but love is an action they don't want to do. It's easy to preach about love when you never consider commandments that apply to you. Why do we look at the heathen and think that Yahweh shall mercy a part of them too? Listen, the judgment that's written for all of the heathen. Don't jump in and leave out the blue. I done seen criminals guilty of killing a whole bunch of people. They plead in the case. Just cause they saying how sorry they are, don't mean that their crime can just be erased. We gotta start treating nations the way that they treated our people when we was in chains. So they gotta do the same labor we did. The tables gonna turn, they'll do it in flames. Skillet be popping, grease be popping. Be not deceived, my music get busting. I ain't gotta talk about drugs or women or money, just listen. I ain't even cussing. I just figured that our people need more than to hire some judges to think that they stunting. I just be whipping these bars off the top of my head, the stove. I ain't even stuffing. Ain't even thinking of what I could do if I came in the two back when I was a child. Nation be cleaving the heathen, be thinking they really got something, they jocking our style. Fact that we still in captivity, thinking we thrive from pride right now is wild. I give all praise to Yahweh, I came on the scene, no sin, no pride, no gal. Easy to think about heavenly gifts when you sit around thinking you won't have no trials. The Lord say you must go through fire refined and brought out alive, but you think it's foul. It's clear that your Bible collecting the dust that sit on your dresser, not using the wow. Compared to your flesh, you and your Bible is covered in dirt and dust of the ground. We get around, crying aloud, bringing it out, pinning it down, hitting the scripture, quick as a trickster. Windows Vista, we killing it, mister. I ain't got hate in my heart for art. I love all my people that strive for the truth. Easy to vouch for the righteous, my people, the salt of the earth, and they bringing the juice. If you can't repent for your sin, then you never gonna win, and I'm out and I'm checking the deuce. Trying to conceal the knowledge about who we are, but the prophets be up on the roof. I had to pause for a round of applause cause that's what you can do.
Jerry, I see you. What up?
Not for the bars, but all of the laws that's given to you. Talking true potential, I've been out the window waving the flag of the Most High in Christ. You've been steady pushing, you ain't even looking. You too busy out here dabbing and strife. Wait till you step to the plate and you check out the sword of the spirit, but you got a knife. Piercing the doctrine and guts in the blood of these pastors. Now trust me, you're risking your life. Hold up, I done gave y'all too much of this. The flaming sword gotta wait, build up to this. The flames here too hot, apocalypse. If you think this whack, boy, shut your lips. Real rap, stone cold stunner up in this. Make you take a knee like Kaepernick. Take a record of the heat like Fit. Big bars tight, trust me, it's no accident.
The book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men.
Good. All right, shalom. Most High in Christ, everybody. Most High in Christ, bless everybody. I'm your brother Jacob with Congregation of Saints, and to my left,
Brother Roy.
and we got a good one for y'all today, but you're going to have to pay close attention. It's imperative because we're going to show you some stuff, and you got to look at the spirit of these people. The spirit. Just like we have certain behaviors, we have our own spirit as a nation. Our enemies has a spirit too. And this particular enemy is our main enemy, but of that nation, the worst of them, their head is what we're talking about today. Let's open up with Ezekiel 3:11 like we usually do, and then I'm going to show y'all something else quickly before we get into it. We got a lot to get through. We're going to do a lot of reading. It ain't going to be many scriptures, but we're going to highlight some history for y'all so you can understand who these people are and the way that they behave always, and they lie always. Go ahead, bro.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 11. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
So that's our commission. You see brothers all around the world on the Sabbath going out to the street and trying to wake up and teach our people to repent and return to the Lord God of Israel. Now, quickly, Revelation chapter 12. I think I said this recently. When you look at the nation of Edom, their head is Amalek, the so-called, or what you call nominal, meaning in name only, Jews. Nominal Jews. Only in name are they Jews. Revelation 12 and verse 3.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
So the same people that was over there then, they're over there now today. Go ahead, verse 4.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth.
Now, because I asked a couple brothers this question, who would the tail be? So the great dragon was in Israel. You had the Romans there, but in particular you had Herod. The Amalek Idumeans were there, and they're the head. They was the ones ruling. The tail that drew the third part of the stars in heaven, that's the Romans casting us into captivity in 70 AD. So Amalek is the head. The head of all of Edom is in our land again today. All right. Finish that verse out.
And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
All right, you can drop that now. Give me Proverbs 29 and 12.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
So we're going to show you today that the rulers and the people over there, they all wicked. They've been hearkening to lies since their beginning. All right, so what we're going to do, we're getting into this book right here. It's called 51 Documents. That's what we're getting into. That's going to be our main source today. Now give me the first picture I want is Talmud Ketubot 39. So I don't know if y'all been asleep or whatever.
Not 39?
Yeah, Ketubot 39.
All right, you want that right now?
Yeah, put that up there. So there's this big argument going on over there in Israel because of the Israeli Defense Forces raping men. So in the Talmud, so they're debating because in the Talmud you're allowed to rape people in certain circumstances. So this is the Ketubot. This is Ketubot 39. This is from the Talmud. Give me the second one, Talmud number 2. But what they're doing, I would imagine some, because they be toting them rainbow flags over there in Tel Aviv. But for the most part, they're using devices to shove up the men. Yeah, go ahead and read that. Either one of y'all.
We've been discussing the payment awarded when a woman loses her virginity, either through rape or seduction. The first Mishnah on today's daf outlines significant legal differences between these two, and the result is a discussion about many things, including the pain of intercourse, both consensual and forced. Here is a portion of that Mishnah.
So hold on, it said, read that part again. Consensual or forced? What is? So let me tell y'all, the Talmud is rabbis interpreting God's law. How in the hell can you get this far off? You stay right there, bro. I'm gonna read something for y'all real quick. I'm gonna go to
It's probably that doctrine of
Deuteronomy 22.
when they say we're allowed to keep them
on the screen.
Yeah, keep that on the screen.
What you want?
I want verse 20, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 25. So they're struggling in trying to determine what's consensual and what's rape.
Shalom, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
So that's cut and dry. If he forces her, he has to die. So why are they having an argument? Why are they in their book arguing over what's supposed to happen? It's cut and dry. Right, they're not the children of God. Cause you know, you got one verse that said he take hold on her. That means she consented to that.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
where
go ahead.
I think that's where they was getting it from. That's what I was reading down.
Yeah, so they're getting them confused. How could you get that confused? Because your spirit ain't right.
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 26 now. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing, but unto the damsel thou shalt not do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Right, go ahead.
For he found her in the field, and betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found.
See, it said lay hold. Didn't say force her. And they be found.
She didn't cry out.
Right. And it says, and they be found, meaning it was consensual and somebody caught them in the act. Go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife. Oh, okay. That's it on it.
So they're confused by this right here. And we're going to read it. I don't want to jump the gun. But as we read, you're going to see they're confused by what we just read. You can go ahead, Roy. Damn.
Paragraph 2. The seducer gives 3 payments, and the rapist 4.
Wait. The rape is supposed to be put to death. Go ahead.
The seducer gives for humiliation, degradation, and the fine. A rapist adds to his payments as he also gives for pain.
Right. Don't even try to figure it out.
Whether she was assaulted or wooed, the Mishnah assumes that not only has her bridal value diminished, hence the fine, but that the man who did it also owes compensation for humiliation and degradation. This is presumed whether or not she was a consensual partner. This is presumed whether or not she is a consensual partner. In the case of assault, he also owes for pain.
Go to the next one.
Which one you want?
It should be 3 of them.
3?
Yeah.
Talmudic rabbis debated the cost of rape in terms of the woman's market value. The rabbis of the Talmud, living as they did in the 1st century CE, did not share our modern intuitions about these subjects. Under Jewish law, rape is indeed a serious crime, with penalties laid out in detail in the book of Deuteronomy.
Yeah, we just read that. So why are they struggling with it? And I want y'all to think now, because this started with the Pharisees at the time of Christ. This stuff started with them. And then it was taught unto Amalek, them that said they are Jews and are not.
And this also is a great example of where religion comes from. You take stuff from the source, and then you got to form it to fit your lust, your desires, your spirit, or whatever it may be.
Yes.
And this is the birth of many religions. But in this week's Daf Yomi reading, as the rabbis explored the penalties for rape of a virgin, it became clearer than ever that rape was not the same crime to them as it is to us. Today we consider it a crime of violence against an individual. For the rabbis, it was more significantly a crime against a woman's reputation, which had serious effects on her social standing and her marriage prospects.
Whoa. Think about that. Because that is very important, because the woman is only supposed to be with one man in her lifetime. So that would destroy her socially.
As if she made that choice, though.
Right.
They're saying it like it's her fault that her value got degraded.
And then the other thing is they behave as though if you have multiple partners, a woman, they don't mean nothing. Whoever wrote this article, true judgment don't not go for. Go ahead.
Their remedy for rape, then, was not to imprison or execute the rapist, but to insist that he make reparation to the victim's family, either by paying a fine or by offering to marry his victim.
Oh, my God. So you rape a woman and you're going to offer to marry her? What you think her dad's going to say?
It's crazy because you have it underlined. Under Jewish law, rape is indeed a serious crime with penalties laid out in detail in the book of Deuteronomy. Then you get to the last sentence, and their remedy,
right?
Like you just totally ignored the details that are laid out,
right,
to make up your own penalty.
That's what Christ was getting on them about. I ain't gonna say in particular this right here, but they're coming up with their own ideas and their own traditions. They're making up instead of following it as it's written. Jump to the highlighted part in the next.
The last paragraph. The idea that a rapist should be punished by marrying his victim is likely to strike us today as outrageous, a travesty of justice.
Yeah, read the next part.
But that is because we are looking at the matter from the point of view of the woman who was raped.
Right. Because she matters too. This, I don't know, man. How many of those we got? That was the third one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's go to rape. And stuff is gonna get weird, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. There's 13 of these we gotta read through, so let's go with the first one.
You want the whole thing?
No, just like where it says this specific group from that point all the way to the red line down the bottom.
Gotcha.
And y'all can take turns. We gotta get through this. We gotta bring this stuff out though. It's a lot, but we gotta get through it.
30 Years Journals, New York, Oxford. Sexual violence against Palestinians, Israeli male soldiers, down to the third sentence. This specific group of soldiers mostly encounters Palestinians in checkpoints and house raids. Checkpoints are high friction points between Israeli soldiers and Palestinians, which gender is very much present. Kotef and Amir, 2007. And in which Palestinian women routinely experience sexual harassment. Hamani, 2019. In a case that emerged recently, 2 soldiers serving at the Kalandi checkpoint were accused of forcing Palestinian women to undress and of touching the woman's genitals during the strip search. Kubafich, 2018.
Well, let me say something real quick. I want y'all to, next time you listen to Israeli people speak, this is the saying that's associated with them now. Whatever they accuse of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Palestinians, whatever they accuse them of doing, it's what they do, what they routinely do. They're projecting what they do onto the other people. So remember October the 7th? Oh, they rape these women, they rape these women. There's no evidence of it.
Children.
Yeah, and there's no evidence of it. Go ahead.
However, sexual violence against Palestinian women by agents of Israeli security forces is not limited to checkpoints or house raids. Palestinian women experience sexual violence while visiting their relatives in Israeli jails and when attending court hearings of their relatives. Al-Issa and Beck, 2020.
Y'all, you understand that? When they go to see their relatives in jail, they get sexually harassed. When they go to court, they get sexually harassed. Oh, there was one video I forgot to add to this. The state of Israel is the rape capital of that side of the world. They even rape their own female soldiers. Go ahead.
These include threats of rape and unwanted and forced touch by both female and male interrogators. BNS 2018, MME Staff 2018, Rosenfeld 2018, the Public Committee Against Torture in Israel, ND, as well as rape. Aisha Adot, for instance, claims to have been raped by an Israeli investigator on March 10, 1969. Khalil 2013. Razmia Oda also reports she was raped in 1969 during interrogation. Kadar 2017. In 2015, a Palestinian female detainee was raped by 2 female soldiers, one of whom is a doctor who conducted a vaginal and anal search on her, apparently following an order by Shin Bet agent. Of a Shin Bet agent. Bernier 2022, Bernier and Berger 2018. These cases show that the exposure of Palestinian women to sexual violence is not limited to encounters with male combat soldiers or Israeli male soldiers in general. Spatially, as much as Palestinian women are subject to sexual harassment and assaults at checkpoints during house raids, their vulnerability exceeds these spaces and includes interrogation rooms, courts, and prisons.
Damn. And guess what, y'all? You can come back to us real quick before you go to the next one. And guess what? Not only do they have women raping women and men raping men, they also have the Israeli soldier women raping men. Yes. But we're told that these are God's chosen people. They're a beacon of light. They're the only democracy on that side of the world. There's a bunch of damn liars.
In the video we were just watching, that they're fulfilling all the prophecies to be God's chosen.
Man, they some baby raping, baby killers is what they are. All right.
Number 2.
Yeah, number 2. This stuff is astonishing. It was hard for me to keep it in all week. Well, for the last 2 weeks, I've been researching it.
Palestinian women. We have seen how the category of Israeli male combat soldiers as the only possible perpetrators limits the scope of the spaces in which we suspect rape and sexual violence may take place. It also shadows the fact that women, in a variety of contexts, take up arms as members of the military and insurgents groups and support, collude with, or acquiesce to the use of violence in civil unrest and international conflicts. The narrow binary perspective that locks us on Israeli male soldiers as perpetrators and Palestinian women as victims disregards the complicity of women in sexual violence during wartime and the sexual victimization of men.
So they're getting into. They're trying to let you know that women be involved in this too. The Israeli women are involved. Go ahead.
As testified by Palestinian men and boys, in that respect, the Israeli case is no outlier. The case of Mustafa Dirani is a case in point. Dirani, a Lebanese citizen and a former Amal leader prisoner who was kidnapped by Israel and interrogated on the whereabouts of an Israeli captive held in Lebanon, alleged that he was raped during interrogation. A Sunday Times investigation article published on 19 June 1977 brought forward allegations of torture that included rape, sexual assault, and sexual humiliation of Palestinian prisoners during detention. So I guess that's just 3 fines. Israeli state sexual violence does not target only Palestinian women. However, the construct of Israeli exceptionalism regarding sexual violence requires asking what is the meaning of Dirani's alleged rape by a soldier who was allegedly ordered to rape him during interrogation, considering he is a man and a Lebanese citizen. Where do we position and how can we understand an event in which a Palestinian man was allegedly forced to commit a sexual act with a donkey by a border police officer?
Oh my goodness.
By focusing on the rape of Palestinian women by Israeli soldiers, these events and others are rendered irrelevant. The framing fails to attend the role of sexual violence as an oppressive tool that is employed by men and women alike, and against women and men, girls and boys in the opt.
So the male soldiers and the female soldiers are sexually assaulting every damn body. The men, the women, and the children. And they're using it as a tool of violence to oppress the Palestinians. But remember, October 7th, they said they used rape as a tool. They said that Hamas did that. Everything that they say, they're telling you what they do. Which one we on? I'm getting pissed off.
Number 3. I got you. Al Jazeera.
Oh, Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera. Everything is legitimate. Everything is legitimate. Israeli leaders defend soldiers accused of rape.
Yeah.
Israeli society is divided over the arrest of 10 soldiers for the brutal gang rape of a Palestinian prisoner caught on video.
Yeah, we got the video. We're going to show it. After we're done with these, we're going to show the video.
You gotta wait until I finish drinking, bro. A gang rape?
Yeah, we got the video. We're going to show.
So you haven't noticed this might not be suitable for young children.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to see
I mean, like this
what they're
class-
actually doing, but you can see how they went about doing it. Yeah, God's chosen people doing this. Next one. Who at number 4?
Number 6.
Oh.
Oh, no, you're right. Number 4, sir. Gotcha.
Amazing. Amazing.
Video has emerged of a gang rape of a Palestinian prisoner by guards at the Sde Tirman detention facility in the Negev Desert, southern Israel. The video, which has been verified by Al Jazeera, shows the prisoner being selected from a larger group lying bound on the floor. The victim is then escorted to a wall where guards, using their shields to hide their identity from the camera, proceed to rape him.
Next one. They pick him up off the floor, carry him over to the corner, and proceed to rape him. But they're the most moral army on the earth.
That's what I just read.
Oh, number 6. Okay, number 7.
The attack is believed to have been so brutal that, after he was transferred to hospital, Israeli media reported that the victim was unable to walk. 10 soldiers were ultimately arrested for the rape in July 29, in a case that has rocked Israeli society. The soldiers belong to a unit known as Force 100, which is tasked with guarding the Sde Tirman facility, according to Haaretz.
Let me say this real quick. So they're not. The men aren't putting their thing inside the other men. They're taking objects and raping them, like tearing up their insides with instruments.
Military prosecutors released 3 of the arrested soldiers on August 4th, adding to the 2 previously released by investigators following a military court hearing in Kfar Yona on July 30th, at which protesters gathered in support of the soldiers under arrest.
Okay, next one. How many we got left?
Transition real quick. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, 'cause we're going to show you these videos. Everything that they talking about, we're going to show the videos.
The video has shocked many within Israeli society. Some observers, including a local rights group and two UN agencies, have voiced concerns about the treatment of Palestinian prisoners. However, for some, including the country's far-right finance minister, the outrage has centered on the crime of recording the video rather than the alleged rape itself.
But it was caught on closed caption TV. Nobody stood there and recorded it. It was their own cameras. And they tried to hide, but it's their own cameras that caught them. Go ahead.
Taking to X, formerly Twitter, on Thursday night, Bezalel Smotrich
Yeah,
demanded...
Bezalel Smotrich. If you pay attention to that name, you'll hear it a lot.
Bezalel Smotrich demanded an immediate criminal investigation to locate the leakers of the trending video that was intended to harm the reservists and that caused tremendous damage to Israel and the world, and to exhaust the full severity of the law against them.
So they want to go after the whistleblowers and not the freaking rapists, the torturer, terrorists that they are. They want to go after the people that expose them. Yes. Yes. And this, keep all this in mind because their spirit has never changed. They always been like this. When they get caught for the evil they do.
Others,
Oh shoot.
including the hard right and ultra nationalist politicians,
My bad.
you good,
I thought you needed the next one.
such as National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir
Yeah, Itamar Ben-Gvir.
within Israel, have argued that any action, even gang rape, is permissible if it is undertaken for the security of the state.
Yeah, so he's saying it's all good as long as it's done for their people. What? So you anally raping a man? What is that going to do for your people?
That's already imprisoned.
They like it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Freaking torture. It shows the spirit behind them. Damn. Now that next one. When the Lord called them the worst of the heathen, He was not lying. When he said that they're gonna be wiped out off the face of the earth, now you understand why. Because I used to be like, why did God say? What did they do so bad that God said they got to go? They have to go.
Defending the indefensible. Following the arrest of the reservists on July 29th, far-right mobs, some of which included government ministers, stormed the facility of Sidi Timan in southern Israel later the same day.
Right. The leaders now. So they locked these soldiers up, and the leaders, and it was like 500 people went to break them out to let them go. All right, what's left?
Unable to find and free the imprisoned soldiers, they then turned to the base at Beit Lid, 60 kilometers away, where the soldiers were being held for questioning to call for the soldiers' release. That unrest continued during a high court hearing, convened on Wednesday to hear the petitions of Sidi Timan prisoners who were alleged to have been tortured. The proceedings were interrupted by demonstrators, who included victims of the October 7th Hamas-led attack who shouted disgrace and we are the sovereign. Israeli pressure group guarding the soldiers, a new organization formed in defense of the soldiers accused of rape.
So that quick they done formed a group to protect them from going to jail for raping folks.
Was quoted in Israeli media as saying, "The hearing in the high court this morning is absurd and a gift to Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar and murderers." Israeli politicians, including cabinet members, have also defended the accused. Ben-Gvir, who is responsible for the prison service, told Israeli media on the day of the reservist arrest that it was shameful for Israel to arrest our best hero.
Our best, bruh, our best heroes.
The same day, Smotrich, who had been among the right-wing mob to storm the prison, published a video message saying that IDF soldiers deserve respect and must not be treated as criminals.
Bro, so that would be like saying, how could we be the judges of the earth and you can't commit sodomy, but you can take a prisoner and put sodomy on him? You're not supposed to treat any of God's creations like that. Damn. Yeah, go let him comment.
It's in our laws not to mistreat our servants or whomever. It's in our laws not to mistreat people, no matter what. It's these people clearly show that they're just my word of the week. They're diabolical.
Yeah.
They're diabolical, bro. It's the only word that I can use for them.
To steal, kill, and destroy. Remember in Numbers, we're in the wilderness, and the young man, they got in a fight, and it was a stranger, an little Egyptian boy, and he cursed God. he was put in ward until a decision would be made what to do with him. Decision was to put him to death. And the decision was to have him put to death. The decision was not to do all kinds of different things to him, to torture him, and then put him to death. It was just to put him to death. What people do this? The Lord shows. I like when you're looking in the book of Maccabees, when the two angels and the Lord came out on them horses and gave dude the beat down and gave him sore strokes. That was to kill him. That wasn't to torture him. But because they sent up prayers, his spirit remained and he was healed. You know what I mean? But we're not supposed to do that type of stuff. That's why I remember in the scriptures to say, hold on, we're right here at Deuteronomy 22. Give me verse 6. Verse 6 and 7. Just since we're right here, just to show that the Lord, he does not want you to show hatred to creatures.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 6. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether there be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days.
Right, so she can reproduce and make more. So the Lord, you ain't cutting them off like that. But Esau, he'd just kill everything and anything. The Lord he's protecting what he created. He did not create all of these different things, for our pleasure, but for his own pleasure. But
No, that's
That's a great point because, like, I go hunting, but see, I go and hunt. I just want to get the deer meat.
right.
Right? Other people hunt for sport, and this is how Esau has diminished all these animals.
Oh, yeah.
Just think about it, like the bison, how they went and killed off when there was,
my God.
it was mountains of it just to prove, just to grieve the enemy. They doing stuff like this, but they hunt for sport. And a lot of these guys you go and talk to, they're like, nah, I don't even want me. I'm just out there to shoot something. This is how they are.
Just reminded me of something. I'll give it a second and then I'll move on. I don't see it right away. But the scripture I was looking for is when it said, he that like killeth an animal as though he slay a man. It's because he's doing it the wrong way. Oh, yeah. Thought it was in Isaiah. Yeah, let's go to the next one. If I find it. So how many we got left?
2 more.
Okay.
You want top paragraph on this as well?
Yeah.
On being asked by Ahmad Tibi, one of the Arab MPs within the Israeli Knesset, last week if it was legitimate to insert a stick into a person's rectum, Hanat Milwetsky, a member of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's ruling Likud party, responded, if he is a Nakuba, Hamas militant...
Hold on a second. So it mentioned in Benjamin Netanyahu, and it said he's a part of what party?
a member of the prime.
He's the prime minister.
Mhm. Israeli Knesset.
I think that's Knesset.
Knesset.
Yeah, Knesset. But it's highlighted. He's part of the Likud party. Remember that. The Likud party. So we're reading this stuff now, but at some point, all this other stuff, we're gonna see it in their past. The Likud part. All these people, these people are sick, and they come from sick, demented people. Go ahead.
If he is a Nakuba Hamas militant, everything is legitimate to do. Everything. Just the tip of the iceberg. The video of the alleged gang rape of the Sadi Teeman is the latest piece in a growing body of evidence of abuse, sexual assault, and the systematic withholding of food and medical care that Palestinians endure within the Israeli prison system. A report titled Welcome to Hell, published this week by the Israeli human rights advocacy group, B'Tselem, includes interviews with the 55 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli detention centers since October 7th. In first-hand accounts, the prisoners, the majority of whom were later released without charge at locations across the occupied Palestinian territory, Gaza, and within Israel, recount being assaulted, insulted, and sexually abused by guards.
And it just keep happening over and over and over. So it's not a one-time thing. You see it just reoccurring. It's like 2 more left.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
Raped by females soldiers. Palestinian elite Sadi Teeman photo speaks out from the Middle East Eye. The man in the famous photo, Ibrahim Salem, spent 8 months in Israeli detention, where rape, electrocution, and beatings were routine.
He was a little dude, too.
He electrocuted me in sensitive spots and hit me in these spots. Raped by female soldiers. Another traumatic episode for many prisoners like Salem was the sexual abuse. Though it was rampant, inmates rarely spoke about it to each other, he said.
Damn.
It was embarrassing for many to admit.
Hold on, bro. Though it was rampant. These folks, this is what they do. When you go back and look at homosexuality, it was Hamites too. In Egypt, you know what I mean, and what's in Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah, those was Ham and others.
Am I reading that right now?
Mm-hmm.
What part?
About to read it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're reading it right.
It was embarrassing for many to admit, especially when they were raped by female soldiers who were sometimes in their teens.
Yeah, that's why I told you. The women too. They have the same spirit. Them and their women, and they molest their women. Go ahead.
It was common practice for soldiers to strip detainees naked, insert objects into their rectum, and grab their genitals aggressively when they changed. When word got around that a prisoner in his 40s was raped, Salem kept getting close to him until he told him what happened to him. He told me he was raped by a female soldier, Salem told MEE. When he asked him how it happened, the prisoner explained it would take place in the presence of another soldier in the room. The prisoner would be bent over a desk with his hands placed in front of him, handcuffed. The female soldier standing behind him would insert her fingers and other objects into his rectum. When he reacted or moved back, the soldier standing in front of him would hit him in the head and force him to bend again. It was one of the many stories he heard in detention, Salem added.
That's sexual violence.
Salem said he was also touched in his private parts by a female soldier and had objects inserted in his rectum at some point.
This sounds worse than Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh yeah, I mean this is in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's lust.
Probably consensual.
They're getting too creative.
I mean, this is American slavery.
Yeah. Buck breaking farms.
They get this different though. They
Yeah.
It's
This is they're
different because
using
of who the person is, like who the people are. This is soldiers on federal income, federal paychecks.
they're using this as a tool of torture and intimidation on the Palestinian people, man. That's how it's used.
And they view them. You see what's been going on the last almost a year now. They were mocking them when they didn't have electricity and power and food. They just have such a hatred for the Palestinians that they look at them as if they're nothing. Because you wouldn't treat anybody that you looked at as another human being.
We have
At this high level, you're gonna have people that do crime, but at this high level, that's such a deep hatred.
we have
and
a saying.
superiority over them.
We have a saying amongst our people. We'll say, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
yeah.
These folks is
Look, I don't even like reading this joint.
That joint's different, bro. I have never heard nothing like this in my life. This is
yo.
like really movie stuff that's real out happening.
They're
It's really happening.
their father is Satan, yo.
But it's
Satan.
on all of their spirit because it's the same thing. Every now and then you'll get a story come out where the U.S. military has done the same thing when they go overseas. I mean, we don't get the details like this,
Right.
but I'm sure it happens. Maybe not at the same level as them, but man,
Well, that's why the Japanese want the U.S. to remove their bases from Hiroshima,
oh yeah, they don't like
No.
them over there.
because they be doing that. They be sexually assaulting them little women over there.
Yeah, but well,
Okay. So next would be, since we read all this stuff about rape, because that was the last one, right?
Yeah, yes sir. Yes sir. I'm sorry.
So now
I'm just like I'm so
disgusted by that.
Yeah, I'm just like, bruh, I ain't. Yeah, you was right. This class right here is. Yeah.
So I've been absorbing this for a couple of weeks. So I mean, so now I'm kind of like, I still abhor it. I'm a little used to it. It's don't have the shock value, but it's deplorable. It's freaking deplorable. It has to come out, man. It has to come out. Our people don't listen to stuff like this. Our people is arguing over whether Kamala Harris is black
Yeah.
and Trump is a racist and stuff.
And talking about entertainment, football season coming up.
Yeah.
All these different things. Or like, I work a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I might, this stuff definitely needs to. This is good. This people need to know this. You need to know who the devil is, man.
Yeah. So, first video, Soldiers Rape a Man. That's the title.
Whew, here we go.
חמאס שוכבים על הרצפה כפותים, עיניהם מכוסות. הנה כאן קבוצה של חיילי המילואים מכוח 100, יחידה המשמשת להבטחת המתקן. הם לוקחים את המחבל, הנה הם כאן בפינת המתקן, כנראה מודעים למצלמות האבטחה ומנסים להסתיר מעשיהם במגינים. הצילום כולל תיעוד של העבירה מיוחסת לאנשי המילואים, מעשה סדום בנסיבות אינוס. שעות אחר כך פונה המחבל לבית החולים מדמם. הפציעות שלו הוגדרו מורכבות. הקביעה הרפואית חד משמעית. הפציעות נגרמו מהחדרה של חפץ.
Military, but like in the ancient days when they would fight, they would put them shields up and it's called a phalanx. So they're using that and got the man behind that, using that to shield what they're doing. Evil. They're not even supposed to have the prisoners laying on the floor like that.
I don't even know why they try to hide it. They didn't go in no secret. They didn't even take them to a back room or nothing.
Right.
You might as well just left yourself uncovered anyway.
And then somebody mad because the video got leaked out. That shows you from top to bottom, they wicked as hell. If a ruler hearken to the lies, all his servants are wicked.
Been saying it for this whole year, man.
Damn. Okay. Next one, protecting rapists. So all of this we read about it. Now we seeing the video.
לעצור אותנו בגלל שאנחנו אחראים על המחבלים של הנוח'בה. רבותיי עם ישראל, אני מבקש מכם, צאו למעננו לרחוב. אני לא מוכן לבושה הזאת שיעצרו אותי.
If they touch our soldiers, we'll build a shield wall. The people will rise up against the government, be it left or right or whatever.
להכניס מקל לרקטום של בן אדם, זה לגיטימי?
כן, אם הוא נוח'בה, הכל לגיטימי לעשות.
אוקיי,
הכל. הכל.
So their lawmakers are arguing over whether it should be legal or not. And the guy that was standing there doing his fist like that, that's the dude that did the raping. He's the one. And he's been doing interviews on Israeli TV stations. Are you kidding me?
He's famous.
Yeah. And they came there to save them.
He's their hero.
Right.
They living vicariously through him.
Damn. Yo, these people wicked as hell. All right, we got one more.
Man, it's just
Israeli news coverage. How long is that?
Does it say?
When you double click on the video, it should show you. Yeah, go ahead, play it.
חד משמעית. אני אתן לי...
רגע, תן לו להשלים.
חיילים שמבצעים עבירה, חשודים בעבירה של אינוס, בעצור כפות. זה לא מעניין אותך?
יפה.
לא מעניין אותך תואר המידות של החיילים שלנו? אגב, אלה לא חיילים, אם הם עשו את זה, הם לא חיילים, הם עבריינים.
בגדול, עוד פעם, זה מעניין לי את העכוז מה עשו לאיש חמאס הזה. אני כל הזמן זוכר, קודם כל, הדבר היחיד שמבחינתי הוא בעיה פה, זה שזו לא איזושהי מדיניות מוסדרת של המדינה להתעלל בצירים. כי בגדול, זה גם, קודם כל מגיע להם, וזה אחלה נקמה שאנחנו צריכים לתת להם. ודבר שני, אולי זה גם ישמש אותנו קצת יותר כהרתעה. זאת אומרת, ברגע שהצד השני, שצריך לזכור, ג'וש, וצריך לזכור את זה טוב טוב, ולא להתקהות ולא להתקרר אף פעם. האנשים האלה קשרו 30 מבנותינו על עצים ב7 באוקטובר, ועשו להם מעשים לא פחות חמורים, אני לא רוצה בכלל לעשות השוואה, חמורים בצורה קיצונית. אז קודם כל, זה מגיע להם, זו נקמה ראויה מאוד, רק חבל שלא עושים את זה בצורה ממוסדת, כחלק מתקנון התעללות בעצירים, כי אז החבר'ה הבאים שיחשבו לעשות לנו 7 באוקטובר יגידו, אתם רואים מה עושים להם בישראל? אל תחשבו על זה בכלל.
קודם כל, צר לי שהדברים האלה בכלל זוכרים משידור ניב, כי מה שעושה פה שלזינגר זה פשוט הסתה לאלימות,
אוי אוי אוי,
האיש הזה...
ממש הסתה?
האיש הזה עכשיו תמך בעבירות של אינוס
של מחבלים נוראים, אנשי חמאס שרוצים להרוג גם אותך ולשפוט אותך ולתקתק אותך כמו שהם.
אני אחדד את זה רק שלז, אני חושב שהוא לא, אף אחד פה לא, בטח אני חושב, ג'וש, לא רוצה להגן על התועבה.
אני חושב שהמסרים האלה...
לא, השאלה היא, האם ראוי שחייל צה"ל, בכל נסיבה שהיא, יחדיר חפץ חד לאחוזו של אדם?
כשמדובר בחמאסניק, איש ששרף פה ילדים, שאנס נשים, שכל הרעיון שלו הוא לקחת כל אחד מאיתנו, לזרוק אותו לים ולעשות בו את המעשים הכי קשים, זו הנקמה שהם צריכים לקבל, ויותר מזה זה צריך להיות כוח הרתעתי. עצוב לי שהדברים של ג'וש...
רגע, הוא לא אמר. איך עצוב לך כבר? הוא לא אמר. אבל רגע, תן לו לדבר.
זה נורא חבל שאומרים דברים כאלה בשידור. חבל לי שאומרים דברים כמו שאתה אומר בשידור. מחלישים את העם. האויב רואה את זה, רואה כמה אתה רופס, כמה אתה רוצה את האג עוד פעם.
So, if y'all want to comment on that, go ahead.
I don't even understand how they on national TV arguing about it. I do from their perspective. This is a regular day. I don't know. That just show you the spirit that's on these people, man.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Diabolical. Diabolical.
That is all.
Yeah, they're arguing not that it was wrong, but whether you should do it or not, or should it be sanctioned by the government for you to be able to do it.
Right.
Like what kind of people are these, man?
Of course it should.
Right. What are you debating? But you're supposed to be the damn people of God. You got God's laws in the book.
One of the first paragraphs we read said the penalties of these actions were detailed in the book of Deuteronomy.
But no, they go by the Talmud.
They go by their own
interpretation of the law. The freaking Talmud.
Make an excuse according to their own will, man.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back with the second part of this class. And you're going to see...
Come
All right, shalom, y'all. We're back. Now we're going to get into this book right here. It's called 51 Documents. And what it is writings of Israelis, Jewish people. It was even before they went into Israel. They're planning the whole thing. So that's what we're getting into now. Go to Albert Einstein. Oh, no, first show 51 Documents. Show the book. Is
51 Documents, Zionist Collaboration with the Nazis, edited by Lenny Brenner.
Albert Einstein, 30. Oh, Shabbat Shalom, Jarrell Taylor.
Note, Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955.
All right, jump down to the next highlighted part. Start there, the volume.
This volume is composed of translations of extracts from speeches and letters delivered and written by Professor Einstein during the last 9 or 10 years. The speech or letter from form has not been preserved, and short passages of purely ephemeral interest have been omitted here and there. The arrangement is roughly, but not strictly chronological. September 1930.
Yep, 1930. So this is all before they even went into the state of Israel. They're planning this stuff out, y'all. They didn't just, God all of a sudden stuck the holy people in the land. That's a damn lie. There's a whole lot to this stuff. These people are very crafty. Next one, 31.
I found these people extraordinarily ready for self-sacrifice and practically creative.
Go up to where it says this Jewish people, because he came from over there in Germany. Germany and Russia, with those particular Jews. Go ahead.
This Jewish people, which I found in America, came from Russia, Poland, and Eastern Europe generally. These men and women still retain a healthy national feeling. It has not yet been destroyed by the process of Ottomanization and dispersion.
So we've been over this stuff before. The Jews that came from Russia, Poland, and Germany and Eastern Europe, where did they come from? They came out of the Caucasus Mountains. The freaking Khazars, man. The Khazars.
The Caesars.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because Caesar really is, when you look at it, it's Khazar. C-A-E. Khazar.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
I found these people extraordinarily ready for self-sacrifice and practically creative.
The spirit of Satan on them.
They have, for instance, managed in a short time to secure the future of the projected university in Jerusalem. At any rate, so far as the medical faculty is concerned.
Now, isn't this 1930? It's 18 years before they go in there.
I also found that it was mostly the middle class and the ordinary folk, and not those enjoying a high social position or any natural advantages, who had most conspicuously preserved the healthy feeling of belonging together and the willingness to make sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
The impression that I gained there is that if we really succeed in establishing a nucleus of the Jewish people in Palestine, we shall once more have a spiritual center, notwithstanding that great majority of us are scattered over the world.
Now, a spiritual center. And how do they behave? That spirit is what's in Jerusalem today. That's their spiritual center.
And the feeling of isolation will disappear. That is the great redeeming effect which I anticipate from the rebuilding of Palestine.
Right. So that's it for what's his name? Albert Einstein, who helped create the freaking nuclear bomb. Now the Iron Wall. This is interesting right here. Iron Wall 1. We're gonna read 5 pages of this.
Vladimir Jabotinsky, The Iron Wall, We and the Arabs. Rassviet, Berlin, November 4, 1923. Note, The Iron Wall is the ideological underpinning of Zionist revisionism. The ideology of the Likud.
Hold on. The ideology of the Likud. Remember we read earlier about the Likud party?
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. The Likud party. When we read it earlier, it said Benjamin Netanyahu was part of the Likud party, right? This right here is 1937. See, all of this stuff is before they ever went into the state of Israel. They have the same ideology back then.
Give a little backstory, because like my wife is watching this. She may not know the year that they actually became a credible.
So 1948. As we go through the 51 documents, we're going to see they get into the land. 1947, 1948. This right here, like you see the date, 1923. All of this, before they ever went in there, they already formulating their plan as to what they're going to do. And we're reading about it, and then you're going to see it happening as time go on. Then we're going to show you videos, and all this stuff's going to pop back in your mind like, damn, this is what they doing. So back to that. Which one was we on?
Oh, you was at the Likud.
Yeah.
The Iron Wall is the ideological underpinning of Zionist revisionism, the ideology of the Likud, the party of Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm assuming that's colonial blimp. Okay. Colonialism has never had a more articulate champion, and it was the basis of the movement's orientation towards Mussolini in the 30s.
So this Likud party is the ideology. It's talking about the ideology of the Likud party. So no matter what Benjamin Netanyahu and any of them tell you, this, what we about to read, is their ideology. It was from the beginning, and it is to now. They lie with a straight down face like psychopaths. But they can't hide what their true goal is. All right, go to the next one. Damn doubles.
The Iron Wall, colonization of Palestine, agreement with Arabs impossible at present. Zionism must go forward.
See that? Zionism, meaning them taking the land, must go forward.
By
Next.
Vladimir Jabotinsky.
Yeah, that's Vladimir like Putin.
Voluntary agreement not possible. There can be no voluntary agreement between ourselves and the Palestine Arabs.
But aren't today they trying to have a two-state solution? But he tells you that you never can. But they act like they want to make a damn agreement. Go ahead, let me calm down. I get heated, man, because they lie all the time.
Not now, nor in the prospective future. I say this with such conviction, not because I want to hurt the moderate Zionists. I do not believe that they will be hurt, except for those who were born blind. They realized long ago that it is utterly impossible to obtain the voluntary consent of the Palestinian Arabs for converting Palestine from an Arab country into a country with a Jewish majority. My readers have a general idea of the history of colonization in other countries. I suggest that they consider all the precedents with which they are acquainted, and see whether there is one solitary instance of a colonization being carried on with the consent of the native population.
Nobody consents to you colonizing them.
There is no such precedent.
Right? It has to be done by force.
The native populations, civilized or uncivilized, have always stubbornly resisted the colonists, irrespective of whether they were civilized or savage.
So people do not want you to take their freaking land. But in the white person's mind, they think something is wrong with you if you resist them. A lot of people today, they tell you, oh no, those are Zionists. Israel is a colony. It's colonization. And 100% it is. It's European colonization. Yeah, next one. That's why I titled this Lies deceit and terrorism. We're going through the deceit now, and then after this, we're going into the terrorism. We're going to find out who the real terrorist is.
Arabs, not fools. This is equally true of the Arabs. Our peacemongers are trying to persuade us that the Arabs are either fools, whom we can deceive by masking our real aims, or that they are corrupt and can be bribed to abandon to us their claim to priority in Palestine in return for cultural and economical advantages. I repudiate this conception of the Palestinian Arabs. Culturally, they are 500 years behind us. They have neither our endurance nor our determination, but they are just as good psychologists as we are. And their minds have been sharpened like ours by centuries of fine-spun logogamy. We may tell them whatever we like about the innocence of our aims.
See, we may tell them about the innocence of our aims. We just want to live along peacefully with y'all. We'll even buy the property from you, which they only bought 5% and they stole the rest. Go ahead.
Watering them down and sweetening them with honeyed words to make them palatable. But they know what we want.
See, they know what we want.
Smooth as butter.
Yep, his words are smooth as butter.
As well as we know what they do not want. They feel at least the same instinctive jealous love of Palestine as the old Aztecs felt for ancient Mexico and the Sioux for their rolling prairies.
Right. They fought for it. They had to be defeated.
And it goes to show they know the history of the colonization of the Western world. The same spirit, the same energy they had back then to trick or to dominate them and take over. The same energy they're trying to use here for Palestine. Conspiring together. Next one. And look who those people were. The Mexico and the natives.
You good?
Yeah. I'm good for now.
You can get the next section then.
The Iron Wall.
Oh, here we go, y'all. Because I'm going to do a little explaining. But go ahead.
We cannot offer any adequate compensation to the Palestinian Arabs in return for Palestine. And therefore, there is no likelihood for any voluntary agreement being reached.
Right. It's not going, they're not going to voluntarily agree to give away their land. Go ahead.
So that all those who regard such an agreement as a condition sine qua non of Zionism may as well say non and withdraw from Zionism.
Watch this.
Zionist colonization must either stop or else proceed regardless of the native population.
So either stop or else proceed regardless of the native population, meaning despite them, whether they agree or not. Go ahead.
Which means that it can proceed and develop only under the protection of a power that is independent of the native population.
So a power that is, it can proceed and develop only under the protection of a power that is independent of the native population. Go ahead.
Behind an iron wall, which the native population cannot breach.
Right. So you see, I wrote there, United Nations. The Iron Wall is the United Nations. The Palestinians cannot breach the Iron Wall of the collective nations of the earth. So that's what they set up. So they got put in the land in 1947, 1948, and you can't turn it back. The Palestinians didn't even have a place in the United Nations. That's something very recent. So they use the United Nations to keep those people from fighting back. They're even doing it today. What happens? So you've had several resolutions and they have voted to try to stop the war that's going on. Well, it's not war, but the pillaging of the Israelis against the Palestinians. And they've gone up there and spoke. And then guess what? Every time they come up with a resolution and everybody agrees, what happens? The United States vetoes it. Every single time. That's the iron wall. They cannot break through that iron wall. Oh my goodness. So there's 5 permanent member states. Any of them 5 permanent member states veto something, it does not go through. It could be 99 versus 1. It will not go through. That's the freaking iron wall. They use it against all the nations, man. This man. And people talk about they waiting for the damn Antichrist to come. Are you blind? Man. Yeah, he been here. It's unbelievable. All right, let's go back. We don't want to be here too long. The next one for the iron wall.
That's my right there.
Which
So
last paragraph. That is our ARAB policy. Not what we should be, but what it actually is. Whether we admit it or not. What need, otherwise, of the Balfour Declaration or of the mandate?
That mandate is the Balfour Declaration, that they would give them the land. Go ahead.
Their value to us is that an outside power has undertaken to create in the country such conditions of administration and security that if the native population should desire to hinder our work.
That's the United Nations. Man, these folks is crafty as hell. Now, fascism. Fascism 1. So we're going to go to the definition first.
Fascism.
A political philosophy, movement, or regimen, such as that of the fascisti, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader.
And then Yahoo.
Severe economic and social regimentation, enforceable suppression of opposition.
And they do all of these adjectives describes them, and it's a political or philosophical movement, but it exalts the nation and race. That's what they always say, the Jewish people. And if you go against them, you're anti-Semitic. It's the definition of fascism. Fascism 2.
Dr. Von Weasel believes in fascism. World Jewry, London, June 12, 1936. Read the highlighted.
Yeah, just to highlight it.
In 1936, on his own, he contacted the Mosleyites, and proposed a mad imperialist alliance. Britain, Germany, Poland, and Japan, and a Zionist state.
So all of them rolled together. That's the West and Japan, even to this day. The Western countries and Japan.
Against the Soviets, Arabs, and the Asian colonial revolutions.
What would you call them today? The Soviets, Arabs, and Asian colonial revolutionists.
NATO?
No, you said it earlier. BRICS.
Oh.
Pretty much BRICS. Yeah. Ain't no Brazil in there, but see that stuff. It doesn't change over time, man. And these people keep lining themselves up together, doing war games together, everything, man. The thing that have been is that which shall be. Next one. Yeah. You can go back and watch the class again.
Well, that's what Camilla Harris always say that, don't she?
What?
That's her saying. They had that clip where she said that like every speech when she was running. What has been is what will be.
Oh,
like
yeah. She butchered it, though.
She said it 100 times in every speech.
Zionist leaders of socialist sympathies. They sympathize.
Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Zionist leaders of socialist sympathies, and he declared that although opinions among the revolutionists varied, in general, they sympathized with fascism and they were strong opponents of socialism and communism. He, personally, was a supporter of fascism, and he rejoiced at the victory of fascist Italy and Abyssinia as a triumph of the white races against the black.
Oh, because you know Abyssinia is what's it? The Ethiopians. It's in Ethiopia, and there are Jews there, black Jews there. Go ahead.
He also asserted the revolutionist. What? Oh, I did the same thing you did. The revisionist wanted to bring to Palestine within the next 10 years 900,000 Jews from Poland, 300,000 from Romania, and 300,000 from Germany. Finally, he stated that the revisionist had no desire to colonize Jews in Abyssinia, and that, in his opinion, it would be well for the Arab strike in Palestine to continue for several weeks more.
So the reason I pulled this out right here is the Zionist leadership are fascists. They sympathize with fascism and were opponents of socialism and communism. And see, they come out of places like Russia and Poland where they were in socialism. Remember now, these folks believe in capitalism wholeheartedly. And then the other point in here is that they're triumphing of the white races over the black races. Man, you got to understand who you're dealing with. And then they only have their own interests at heart. As we read, you're going to see the things that they did to take the land of Israel. All right, that was the last one, right? Yeah. Now, I'm old enough. I'm 58 years old. And I remember being a young boy hearing about Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat. So let's go to Menachem Begin 1. And all this stuff that we've been going over is for a reason. Pay attention.
Menachem Begin.
Begin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Menachem Begin.
Menachem.
Okay.
Menachem Begin.
Okay. Menachem Begin. Born August 16th, 1913. Brest-Litovsk, Russia. Died March 9th, 1992. Was a Zionist leader who was a prime minister of Israel from 1977 to 1983. Begin was the co-recipient with Egyptian president Anwar el Sadat. Okay, Anwar el Sadat of the 1978 Nobel Prize for Peace for their achievement of a peace treaty between Israel and Egypt that was formally signed in 1979.
It don't make no damn sense because when you find out what this, so he was the prime minister. Go to the next one, man.
New Palestine Party. Visit of Menachem Begin and aims a political movement discussed.
So this was his party, Menachem Begin, the New Palestine Party, the Freedom Party. We're gonna read it. This was his party. You're gonna find out the same damn party of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yeah, go to the next one.
Among the editor of the New York Times, among the most disturbing political phenomena of our time is the emergence in the newly created state of Israel of the Freedom Party. What's that? Tanat Herod, a political party closely akin in its organization, methods, political philosophy, and social appeal to the Nazi and fascist parties.
See that? So they're closely related to the Nazi and fascist parties, but they keep talking about Hitler when they do the same crap. Go ahead.
It was formed out of the membership of following of the former Ergon Savai Lume.
So this is formed out of the membership of the former Ergen Zavai Lumi. That's another organization. Go ahead.
A terrorist, right-wing, chauvinist organization in Palestine.
So he comes from a terrorist organization. He comes from a terrorist organization. Now these people always, when you watch them, every time they talk about somebody, they talk about their terrorists. The terrorists did this. Ooh, they're hiding in the terror tunnels. Are you kidding me? What makes a tunnel terror tunnel? Somebody go down there and beat the hell out you down there?
Hypocrites, man.
These people, they come out of terrorism. Once they come into control, they're the ruling party. So when you look at Ukraine, the stuff that they're doing, but who are they being run by? The Nazi Azov battalion, man. You're kidding me. And how you gonna call somebody else terrorist? From your beginning, you are terrorists. The definition of a terrorist is when you kill people and civilians to get a political reaction. That's exactly what they're doing. Every time you look at the news, you'll see Hamas, you'll see Hezbollah. They're taking out military targets. The Israelis is killing people. That's freaking terrorism.
1000%. They're flaming hypocrites.
Yes.
They always.
And everybody believes it. Damn. Now watch this. I don't know if y'all paid attention a couple weeks ago. Read that part at the bottom.
The current visit of Menachem Begin, leader of this party, to United States is obviously.
So he came to visit the United States. What happened a couple weeks ago? Benjamin Netanyahu came here and spoke in front of Congress. To do what? To get more weapons to kill people. And as soon as he left, they went and killed the leader of Hamas over in Iran. And they killed the leader of Hezbollah. One of the leaders of Hezbollah came right over here and spoke in front of Congress and got permission. Read that from the top again.
The current visit of Menachem Begin, leader of this party, to the United States is obviously calculated to give the impression of American support for his party in the coming Israeli elections and to cement political ties with conservative Zionist elements in the United States.
Because they got their brothers over here at the top of the government. Yeah, next one. This stuff, man, is just unfolding like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just plain as day.
51 documents, Zionist collaboration with the Nazis.
Yeah,
man, Zionist collaboration with the Nazis. Man, these people got a nerve using our stuff like that, man. It is inconceivable that those who oppose fascism throughout the world is correctly informed as to Mr. Begin's political record of perspectives could add their names in support to the movement he represents.
Right. So like Benjamin Netanyahu came over here and got support and opinion over here in the United States. And he came and did the same thing years ago. Now jump down to the public.
Yes, sir. The public avowals of Begin's party are no guide whatever to his actual character. Today they speak of freedom, democracy, and anti-imperialism, whereas until recently they openly preached the doctrine of the fascist state. It is in its actions that the terrorist party betrays its real character.
Is calling them a terrorist party. Go ahead.
From its past actions, we can judge what it may be expected to do in the future.
The same thing they do today. This, you know how long ago this is written, man?
1948.
Damn.
This is, man, I'm glad you brought it. I did not know none of this right here.
Bro,
My bad. The one thing I hate, though, especially when the history is documented like this, and they're telling on themselves, when we bring up slavery in America, they be like, "Oh, that was so long ago. That wasn't me. That wasn't them."
Yeah.
Just to erase the history out of our minds so we can forget these things. But not knowing this is the same thing they do over and over and over again. It's the same energy and the same spirit. Just like when they want to tear down all the southern statues and things like that. That's just another way that our kids are not going to know some of the history that went on in the South. Well, really across this whole country. But especially in the South where they had a lot of these monuments and historical facts. If it's historically facts, let's talk about it.
You know they
not
had
erase
that in
it.
mind. You know they had that in mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
if they want to turn them down, we'll turn them down.
And then what? My bad. Hold on. Because then our silly melanated people every 4 years think that's doing something for us. And they use that, oh yeah, we're going to tear the statues down. They use that as a political agenda to make our people vote on something that means absolutely nothing. Tearing down the statue in Richmond, the statues in Portsmouth and stuff like that means nothing for our people as far as if you're saying these political people or people we're voting for are supposed to do something for us. It's just, especially the Democrat side, I'm so tired of the black people getting swayed by things that mean nothing. They think, this is what they think of us. I'm sorry. They get Meg Thee Stallion to represent Kamala Harris at her speeches. That's what they think of y'all Negroes, man. They think that's what y'all want to see. But that's all we buy into as a people, though. Because if we didn't, I had a Facebook memory over almost 300 comments. Because I had brought up when Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion was on stage at that show. And they were twerking and dancing on it was like a major music award show, a family show. But when they got up there, they doing basically everything except for taking their clothes off on the stage. And there's so many women and men mad at me for bashing them and saying, oh, well, Lil' Kim did it and all these people. That's our mentality. Now you fast forward, Glorilla came out, Sexy Red came out, and it's only getting worse. But we are buying into that, and it's such a, what do y'all like to use? It's so low vibration. Such a low vibration. It's low vibrational energy.
What was you going to say?
No, that's a
Valid point. And then on top of that, if you are in line with that, you vote, you do any of these things, you are now in line with that, and you are guilty as well. You're guilty right along with America, and America knows that Zionists are terrorists. And guess what? They in league with them. You don't think they know this information? They got all this information, and they support them.
1,000%.
What we just read was written to the New York Times.
Right. They support them 1,000%.
And let us not forget that many of the leaders in the United States are dual citizens. They are born of Israeli or Jewish parents. That's why they go along with it. That's why it's continually vetoes. Where we at now?
Number 5, sorry.
This stuff is crazy, man. It's unbelievable.
Attack.
Big and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Attack on Arab village.
Yes.
A shocking example where their behavior.
Hold on. Remember, October the 7th. Well, we're gonna watch a video where they claim that they want peace, when from the very beginning they've been killing Arabs and terrorizing Arabs and always talking about they've been trying to pursue peace. They've come up with solutions to a 2-state solution when they're all freaking lies. And at the end, we're going to show y'all videos. Ooh, you're going to enjoy them. Because what hurts the damn devil more than anything? Truth.
The light.
Truth. And oh my goodness.
It's like they trying to hide that damn video.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Bro. Attack on Abraham Village. A shocking example was their behavior in the Arab village of Deir Yassin. This village, off the main roads and surrounded by Jewish lands, had taken no part in the war and had even fought off Arab bands who wanted to use the village as their base. On April 9th, terrorist bands attacked this peaceful village, which was not a military objective in the fighting, killed most of its inhabitants, 240 men, women, and children.
Now, who would these terrorists be? It's the Israelis. It's not Arabs. These were Arabs. It was Israelis that are being called the terrorists here.
Zionists.
Yes, because this is exactly what they do. They. Oh my goodness.
Now here's my question for the people out there: Judaism, Zionist, same ordeal, correct?
One is used by the other. Judaism is them interpreting the laws and then putting their own twist on everything,
AKA the Talmud.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Zionism is the movement by the nutsoids to take the land back.
Gotcha.
Because they've always wanted to do. Every time we get kicked out, they in the damn land.
So in simple minds like myself, Judaism is basically the religion.
Yes.
Zionist is a movement.
Yes.
Like the what's the movement over here? I'm sorry, y'all. The Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah,
it's like a movement like that, right?
But
on a more extreme level.
Yeah, much more extreme.
Like
they
ISIS.
They want to take the land for themselves.
Like ISIS, gotcha.
Which is fascism.
Gotcha.
All right.
I'm gonna start from the top. On April 9th, terrorist bands attacked this peaceful village, which was not a military objective in the fighting, killed most of its inhabitants, 240 men, women, and children, and kept a few of them alive to parade as captives through the streets of Jerusalem. Most of the Jewish community was horrified at the deed, and the Jewish agency sent a telegram of apology to King Abdullah of Transjordan. But the terrorists, far from being ashamed of their act, were proud of this massacre, publicized it widely, and invited all the foreign correspondents present in the country to view the heaped corpses of the general havoc at Deir Yassin.
All you can do is shake your head, but they keep using that word terrorists. The terrorists. Hamas terrorists. The terrorist tunnel. I ain't gonna be with a second.
Okay.
We can keep going. Go to the next one. This stuff is...
Alright. The Deir Yassin incident exemplifies the character and actions of the Freedom Party. During the last years of sporadic anti-British violence, the IZL and Stern Group,
remember that,
inaugurated a reign of terror in the Palestine Jewish community. Teachers were beaten up for speaking against them.
Now this is their own people. This is how bad they were when they were coming against their own people. Teachers were beaten up for speaking against them. Go ahead.
Adults were shot for not letting their children join them. By gangster methods, beatings, window smashing, and widespread robberies, the terrorists intimidated the population and exacted a heavy tribute.
But the point is, these are the Israelis, the Zionists. They're the terrorists. They go into the land as the damn terrorists.
They're the synagogue of Satan. That's what we've been teaching people for years, man.
Yep.
The people of the Freedom Party have had
which was Menachem Begin. Go ahead.
Have had no part in the constructive achievements in Palestine. They have reclaimed no land, built no settlements, and only distracted from the Jewish defense activity. Their much publicized immigration endeavors were minute and devoted mainly to bringing in fascist compatriots.
So their focus was bringing in more people that were in fascism.
This is still in 1948. It's the same section.
Yeah, because this is them coming into the land. This is how they got the land.
Literally, exactly what's going on today.
Coming to you.
Which one we at now?
That's it.
Oh, that was it for Menachem Begin. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now the Stern Gang.
Got you.
Good.
Yeah.
Stern
You
Gang
did a lot
one.
of reading, bro. I got you.
Yeah, we're almost done. So you can.
This is short class.
That's what I like. It's all good. I needed this class though, right here. 1944. The Stern Gang assassinated Lord Monet, Churchill's High Commissioner for the Middle East.
Now what did Israel do a couple weeks ago?
Assassinated the leader of Hamas.
They assassinated 2 leaders. A while ago they assassinated more. They always doing it. They have a group called Mossad, their secret service, and they go around assassinate their enemies.
America.
They assassinate leaders. Damn.
They get the job done.
Yes, sir.
In 1948, they assassinated Swedish Count Folk Bernadotte, formerly of the Red Cross, then the UN Special Mediator for Palestine, and the new labor-led Israeli government outlawed the group, although individuals were later allowed to integrate.
Yeah, they became a part of these assassins now. This group now became a part of the government. Go ahead.
And I'm reading over again. Although individuals were later allowed to integrate into the military/police complex, the labor rights saw these assassins as Zionism's lunatic fringe, but post 48, most of them rejoined the revisionist Harut Party, and Menachem Begin's government brought them retroactively into the pantheon of official Zionist heroes.
They became these terrorists became heroes, like the rapists. They're heroes. Next one.
Assassinations. Tel Aviv, Israel will issue a postage stamp honoring Abraham Stern, founder of the notorious Stern Gang, linked to the killing of British and Swedish diplomats before Israeli independence.
That's what we just read up above. Go ahead.
Stern, codename Yair, was the most extreme of the rightist guerrillas, led by current Prime Minister Menachem Begin, who battled against British rule in Palestine before establishment of the Jewish state.
That's another thing too. They battled against the British. That's who gave them the mandate, gave them the land, the rights to the land. So I think this next one, is this the last one? Yeah, Stern Gang 3. Just reading this stuff, man. Like, bruh. Stern Gang 3.
Yitzhak Shamir, born Yitzhak Yezernitsky in Belarusia.
That's now will be Belarus, which is next to Russia.
Okay. In 1915, was one of the 3 Lahi leaders after Stern. He definitely organized the Moyen assassination. Mm-hmm. And many Israeli historians see him as organizing the Bernadotte slaying.
Yep.
In 1955, Labor recruited the assassin master into the secret police.
Yeah, he in the secret police now, right? Go ahead.
And retired in 1965, he joined Harut and became the successful Likud Party's choice to replace.
Who's the Likud Party today?
Benjamin
Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. Yeah, I keep forgetting the Netanyahu part.
Dang.
Replace. he joined Harut and became the successful Likud party's choice to replace Menachem Begin after the prime minister went mad, blaming himself for his wife's death.
Right.
Mr. Yitzhak Shamir, the Israeli prime minister, has given an interview covering the most controversial aspects of his past as leader of the Jewish terrorist group known as the Stern Gang and one of the top undercover agents in the Mossad, Israel's secret service.
So Mossad is the Israeli secret service. So where did they get their people from? They were freaking terrorists. They started this country off with terrorism. Yeah, the scripture real quick before we hit these videos.
It's so crazy, man. I just read something the other day, man. Like, it was like, if the news is fake today, imagine the history that we look at.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here looking at what you're reading and going through these letters and documents. They on top, so that's why the narrative is the way it is. Like, you can't even protest on the college campus against Israel. Like, and protesting is supposed to be protected in your constitution, as long as you're doing it peacefully. But they shutting it down with National Guards and force, and saying they're gonna go to jail. And I mean, it's insane when you look at the people that's in control and running this whole thing. Like, our people really got to wake up, man.
Yes, sir.
We really got to wake up and zoom out and see this bigger picture, man. We really got to see it, man.
Habakkuk 2 and verse 9. Damn. And then we're going to watch these videos and call it a night.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 9. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness.
Now start at 6.
Verse 6.
I'm sorry.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Right. Increasing that which is not his and going to the extreme in every way to get it. Go ahead.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Come on.
Shall they not rise up, and suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein.
Come on, last verse. Verse 9.
Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness, verse 9, to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Right. Now take all this stuff that we have said and shown you, these parties and all this stuff, and now we're going to show you videos of Palestinians in debates with them, and just sit back and enjoy. I'll put it that way. And then the last video is going to be a special one. So the first one I want is the most moral army, because you keep hearing that. What, this only nation that calls people and tells them they're going to blow up their building? Get the hell out of here. How is that doing them a service?
You may have heard the claim that Israel has the most moral army in the world. This claim is repeated by Israeli government officials and their apologists, but does it stand up to scrutiny? Well, let's look at the facts. The Israeli army has an extensive and ongoing record of indiscriminate attacks on Palestinian civilians and flattening of entire neighborhoods, leading to thousands of civilian deaths. During Israel's 2006 war on Lebanon, an Israeli military commander was quoted saying this to the Israeli press: "What we did was insane and monstrous. We covered entire towns in cluster bombs." This was in reference to Israel dropping up to 4 million cluster submunitions all over South Lebanon, in the final days of the war, when everybody understood that a ceasefire was imminent. Human Rights Watch notes that this bombing campaign was indiscriminate and left up to 1 million cluster munitions unexploded on the ground. For many years after the war, these cluster bombs continued to kill dozens of children in Lebanon and injure hundreds. The Israeli army also has a long history of using Palestinian civilians, including children, as human shields, with well over 1,000 cases documented since the year 2000. Now, after human rights groups objected to the practice, the Israeli Supreme Court banned it in 2005. But the Israeli defense establishment objected to that ruling. And while they lost the appeal and the use of Palestinian civilians as human shields remains technically illegal, the practice continues because Israel does not seriously punish soldiers who engage in it. In the case of soldiers who were caught using a Palestinian boy as a human shield in Gaza during Operation Cast Lead, Human Rights Watch described their symbolic punishment as inadequate and a slap on the wrist, and said that we can expect the practice to continue because Israel does not take it seriously. During the First Intifada, the Israeli army was carrying out orders to break the bones of Palestinian demonstrators who were protesting against Israel's illegal occupation of their country. More recently than that, they've even been caught on video shooting and killing unarmed demonstrators.
At the precise moment when Nawara was shot, CNN's camera was rolling, filming an Israeli soldier shooting his rifle at the Palestinians.
And if video evidence weren't compelling enough, Israeli soldiers have stepped forward with confessions about being encouraged to shoot at unarmed Palestinians.
אין כזה דבר אזרחי מבחינתנו. מבחינתנו, אנחנו מזהים מישהו, אנחנו פשוט יורים בו.
All of these crimes are documented and condemned by virtually every major human rights organization in the world, from Amnesty International to Human Rights Watch, and even to Israeli human rights organizations like B'Tselem. And then there is the abuse of Palestinian children in Israeli military detention. Children are arrested and prosecuted by the hundreds each year, the overwhelming majority of whom endure physical violence. They're often snatched in the middle of the night, denied access to their family, and are abused into producing forced confessions. No matter where you stand politically on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, this abuse of children is unconscionable, which is why Congresswoman Betty McCollum recently introduced H.R. 4391, the Promoting Human Rights by Ending Israeli Military Detention of Palestinian Children Act. That bill aims to prevent U.S. aid from supporting the detention and ill treatment of Palestinian children in Israeli military prisons. The case of Ahda Tamimi and her family is just the latest example for why this is so important. Only when Palestinian children are free from the so-called Most Moral Army's occupation of their land and abuse of their rights can they live normal lives like children everywhere else in the world.
Oh, you gotta say something? Gather your thoughts, man. This stuff is,
Bruh, if you don't understand that, bro, there's something, bro. People that you talk to, if you don't see that they're the devil, if you don't see this and be like, wow, they're the devil, you gotta evaluate yourself, bro. Mm-hmm. Real talk. And then number two, that act is basically she's going against America's support for this. They sending them money to support this.
Yes.
Every time I get paid, the government is taking money out of my check, taxing the hell out of my check that I'm working for, and they go and sending all this money to support these type of acts instead of putting the money back into our pockets. Think how wicked that is. They taking our money, going out there and doing devilish acts instead of giving the money back to. Stop taking my money out to go do that, yo.
Bro, what about the homeless people? People living under bridges and all kinds of stuff.
They said with the amount of money they gave Ukraine and all these donations, we could have been solved hunger.
Yeah.
In America, homelessness in America.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been an issue. And the go back off of what Jose was saying, like that's my issue when, especially during this election year, so a lot of our people think they understand how these things go. The problem I have with politics is it's not transparent. It's
right.
not
just like this stuff. It's not transparent,
and that's what I'm saying. So for our country to be involved in it, and we don't know what the fine print is, how can I make a conscious decision to make a good vote?
Yeah, you can.
So even if you want to, we already know we're supposed to vote for Christ. That's who our king is. We know that. But say you did think you had the choice. You're not making an educated choice at all. And that's why the last time I went on my little rant a few minutes ago is why they throw Megan Thee Stallion just to persuade you. Because you're not looking at none of the real issues, the real things that's going on in this world. Or what that law is attached to that's going to get other rights taken away or more power to the government. Like, we're not thinking, man, at all, man. We just easily entertain, and they just keep shucking and jiving and jigging in front of us, man. and we eat it up.
I was also
going to say, and that's a great point as well. I was also going to say that Biden, he had this thing where he was going to give, I don't know if y'all remember, he was going to, if you had like a Pell Grant as far as school, if you was somebody that used a Pell Grant, he was going to reduce what you owe by $20,000. Now, I'll give y'all a little education on this. Like me, I have debt because I went to school. Bro, if he would have given the people, those people back $20,000, but do you know how my credit would, bro? My credit would have skyrocketed, bro.
Me too.
Like it would have been a much better, situation for me and my family. But they couldn't even give us 20. Think about the amount of, like they're saying, the amount of money that they're sending for these devilish acts. They care more about what they're doing over there in Jerusalem, way more than what's going on at home. They don't give a damn about us.
Right.
They only care about their agendas.
Their interests. That's why they fight in other places, because of their interests.
And their interest is to keep running business of the United States.
Which is war. You start war, and then you profit off the war.
Well, we were just talking about that too, with trying to figure out the timelines. The two Great Depressions we had, we got out of them when we participated in the world wars. Because our factories and our workers, they bring the women in, they bring the children in. Now you have a bigger economy, more people to tax, and all of a sudden, our economy, we get out of the Great Depressions. And now, what's been going on the last 6 to 8 years? COVID in the middle of that, and our economy goes down, cost of interest, and all that stuff. I mean, I ain't trying to prolong it either, but it's so much into it, man.
It's so like, bro, it's so much capitalism itself, right? I was watching this thing. You showed me the guy's name is Jimmy.
Jimmy Dore.
He brought this man on, and they talked about capitalism.
Oh, yeah.
How capitalism has left the United States. Now it's imminent that the economy is probably going to crash again, right? And what's the way to save it? War. That's why they just pushing it. And if y'all don't know, y'all should definitely go and watch that. That's very educational as far as capitalism and as far as America go. But yeah, man, they pushing this stuff, and it's all to make a buck.
Yeah. So they real quick, they'll tell you, they say socialism and communism doesn't work. And then the whole time they're doing everything in their power to crush the nations that's using or that's operating by socialism and communism. They're trying to crush them. But at the same time, in this capitalism is so corrupted that every 4 or 5 years there's a reset. And that's why these banks be going under, and the government has to bail them out. That's one of the things the dude was saying. Yep. Capitalism does not work.
I did watch that.
Well, no, capitalism could be better if you stop bailing these companies out. Because now you're putting the U.S. in more debt because you don't want Ford to go under. A few years ago, it was Sprint, and I work at a place where we get phones. Guess who the contract was? Let's go spend the money with Sprint. That's part of the bailout to give them the money to stay afloat. And they still ended up going under. So now you spent all those millions of dollars to keep these companies afloat that you have interest in, because now you get into the political game and it's, oh, wait, guns. They give me money. I'm going to support guns. Pepsi, they supported my campaign. I'm not going to talk about how bad sugar is. And it's over and over again. And this is why capitalism doesn't work, because they're not being honest. Capitalism is, you run a good business and successful, get the investors you need, it's going to work well. If you fail, we got to let you fall. That's how you keep it strong. The weak ones go away, and you build a better economical plan on the basic level.
So eventually, what's going to fall?
Right.
The country.
Because we're that poor company now. we're not making good business decisions, and we're that company now that needs to be bailed out. Yep. The only way we can do it is with our very strong defense system, which we spend, last time I looked into it, was the next 5 countries, we spend more than those altogether in our defense.
Man, that's so much.
Bro, that's right there, bro. I'm telling y'all, pay attention to what he was saying. And also, when you look at the video in that what's his name? Jimmy Dore show, right? He was saying that capitalism has moved to China. and move to these areas because it's cheaper to do the labor, and they're still putting forth this profit. So I'm telling y'all got to
shipping.
Yep.
It's all
Right.
cheaper to send it across
So
the world.
it's going to fail, y'all. And basically, just to also give you a little background about capitalism, that basically what it is slave master and slave is just the same as employer and employee. It's saying the same things.
He gonna give you enough to survive.
We indentured servants. We chose to have an employer that will give us just enough to be able to come back to work tomorrow.
All right. Time for some fun. Give me lying about peace. I like this dude. This is a Palestinian. His name is Mr. Barghouti.
Here we go.
Well, here's the thing, Piers. Everybody wants to blame Netanyahu and this government for something that we've been dealing with for 100 years. We've had a lot of attempts at trying to make peace with the Palestinians. It started in the 1930s when the Peel Commission gave Israel about 15%, 20% of what we have today, and the Palestinian leadership at the time said no. In 1947, the UN wanted to split the country in a Palestinian state and an Israeli state. The Palestinians said no. We had all of the Oslo process. We had a very, very generous offer by Ehud Barak in 2001, another one by Ehud Olmert in 2019. At every single juncture where the Palestinian leadership could have done the right thing for their people and create a state to give people the potential to have good neighborly relationships with Israel, to be an incredible superpower, they've always opted for destruction and war and terrorism rather than peace. Everybody in Israel wants peace. We send our children to war. I'm a mother of 4. I have 2 children in the army. Nobody wants to send their kids to harm's way. But everything Israel does and everything it's ever done has been defensive. We want to live in peace. And you know what the proof of that is? That every single Arab country that has wanted peace with Israel has got peace with Israel. We have peace with Egypt. We have peace with Jordan. We've had peace with the UAE. We have peace with Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, and please God, very soon with Saudi Arabia. And why do these countries want peace with Israel? Because they understand that the region is split into 2. The countries that want peace and prosperity and the countries that want destruction and death, run by Iran. And the problem with the Palestinian leadership is that they've always fallen pawns to that game. Do you think the Iranians care about the Palestinians? They just know that it plays well on the Muslim streets. They don't care. They want Shia control of the regions. They want America out of the region, and they want a new world order. And unfortunately, the Palestinians have been plagued with bad leaders who have always opted for themselves, for a kleptocratic regime or a genocidal regime. Mr. Bagruti works for a regime that pays pensions to terrorists, that teaches children in their educational system to hate Israel, and one day all the Jews will go in the sea. This is part of their education authority. And Mr. Bagruti knows better than anybody that Hamas killed his own people in 2006 when Israel left.
Okay, let me bring
Hamas,
in. Okay.
Gaza is not occupied.
Okay, let me.
Gaza is
okay.
not occupied. Israel left in 2005 and killed Mr. Bagruti's friends and colleagues for being in power
but it's also,
up until that time.
Okay.
But you're not going to hear Mr. Bagruti criticizing Hamas, even though Hamas hates him more than they hate me.
Okay, well, let me give the final word to Mustafa Barghouti.
That's not
You know it is. You know it is. You know it is.
Well, listen,
Let him speak.
Don't interrupt me, please. Let me answer. I did not interrupt you at all. Okay. The presentation that was made as if Israel is a very peaceful country. Israel did not conduct more than 15 wars during the last 70 years. Israel was established by the destruction of 520 Palestinian communities. Don't interrupt me, I told you.
Who started the war?
Israel was established by committing 52 massacres in 1948. Avi Shleim, a very and highly respected Israeli academic and historian working at Oxford University, did a thorough research in which he could not find a single evidence that Israel accepted the partition plan in 1947. But they claim they did, which is a big lie. And in my opinion, you asked Mr.
It's
Pierce,
recorded.
what should Israel have done? I tell you what should Israel have done. Israel should have declared that it will end its illegal occupation of Palestinian land, which has lasted now for 76 years of ethnic cleansing and 56 years of illegal military occupation. Israel should have declared that it is ready to end the system of apartheid so that we can have peace. We can have peace only through two ways. Either Israel would end its occupation of Palestinian land, remove its illegal settlers who are attacking us, terrorist settlers everywhere, remove them from the occupied territories, allow Palestinians to have a state of their own without occupation, without control, without hegemony, without apartheid, or let's live together in one democratic state with equal rights. Where you do not impose on us a law that says that the right of self-determination is for Jewish people only. When you interrupt me psychologically, you are trying to impose your occupation on me. Even occupying my right, even occupying my right to speak. This is what you are trying to do, and it is unacceptable. And I don't want to tell you to shut up again, but you deserve more than shut up, actually. So please let me finish.
You want to kill me?
In my opinion, this way of presenting Israel as if it's a country of peace is incorrect. The reality, it's a country of war. You have dragged your people into one crime after the other. And you claim lies, continue to say lies about decapitation of children, about rape of women. You claim that Hamas is oppressing me without allowing me to say that this is not true. By which law you are doing that? And let me tell you, you say that I am against killing any child, Palestinian, Israeli, or any child anywhere. But you claim that 30 Israeli children were killed on the 7th of October. Tell me 10 names. No names were published
do you believe in a two-state solution?
It was not
Do you
proven.
believe in a two-state solution,
Only according to CNN and Western media, the youngest person who was killed on the 17th.
Emotional damage!
It was one person, one young person who was only 14 years old that was killed on the 7th of October. And you claim 30 were killed. Give me their names.
You're
and
lying,
I'm telling
Mr.
you,
Bagruti.
killing 30 children does not justify even killing 15,000 children.
With their mothers.
The blood of these children is on your hands and on your brain.
We'll wait for the names.
Y'all go ahead with your comments. That joint was epic.
It's self-evident. I mean, that's literally. I mean, there's nothing. I have nothing to add to that. You see the manipulation and how they play on words and emotions. Because, like he was saying, he's trying to get his point across, and she's still exerting her authority the same way their nation is doing the same thing over in that region now.
We see it all the time when we go to camp. When you're trying to bring something out, and there's a spirit that comes on those people, and they will not let you speak to get it out. He was saying that their oppression is so bad that you're trying to oppress me by not allowing me to speak.
And he ain't not. This man patiently listened
to all her lies, and he composed himself and then started to speak. But you can look at her face and tell she's the damn devil. That's very easy to see and discern.
That is Amalek 100%. And they just sit there and lie, and they all have that same spirit. They don't want you to speak, and they will just spew out a whole bunch of lies. That same devil spirit. We deal with the same thing with the Christians. You cannot get anywhere with them. They'll keep moving the target, keep cutting you off. It's the same freaking spirit. Told y'all you would enjoy that one. Now, so we got two of them down. The Most Moral Army, lying about peace. So now give me Mr. Barghouti again, fascism.
Chair of the Palestinian National Initiative Party, Mustafa Barghouti. Mustafa Barghouti, thank you for joining me. Your response to what you just heard from Rabbi Fleischer.
Well,
there are several things. I think that what was described is nothing but a fascist point of view. You're dealing with fascists in Israel. It's a fascist government, fascist spokesperson, who are advocating not only killing Palestinians, but also cutting off electricity and water and starving people to death. What is this? Even the Nazis did not come close to doing that. It's a horrible Holocaust that Israel is conducting in Gaza. And it's not defensive, because no army can claim it is defensive when it is occupying another people and another country. And it cannot call itself defensive when it is committing and conducting a system of apartheid against another people. And speaking about children, 16,800 Palestinian children killed by the Israeli army, that doesn't count. Aren't we equal human beings or not? 50,000 people killed, 72% of them are women and children. More than 90,000 people injured so far, many of whom will die because Israel has destroyed all hospitals, all medical facilities, all services. And they speak about defensive war. What kind of defensive war? This is an aggression, a terrible aggression. And because of that, I don't want to repeat what we told you many times on your program. Before the 7th of October, there was ethnic cleansing of Palestinians for 76 years. There was occupation of Palestinian land for 57 years. There was a system of apartheid and oppression. There were 1 million people arrested in the occupied Palestinian territories. And by the way, about the Golan, nobody can prove that this was a rocket thrown by Hezbollah. And Hezbollah asked for an international investigation. Why Israel refuses that? Why Israel refuses to have an international investigation of what happened in the Golan Heights? And the Golan Heights are occupied Syrian territories. And the citizens there are Syrian citizens, not Israeli citizens. They are occupied by force. And they don't want to be Israeli citizens. They're very clear about that. And at the end of the day, let them allow an international investigation committee to check what's going on. I am so worried about the situation, not only because of the injuries and the killing on our people, but also about the fact that now Gaza Strip is totally devastated in the worst kind of man-made humanitarian crisis. More than 1.5 million people are stuck now in a very little strip with no food, no medicine, no shelter, no place to go to, and the bombardment continues. Just because Netanyahu doesn't want to stop this war, and just because Netanyahu wants to save his guts, and wants to continue this war, because he knows that the end of this war means the end of his political career. This is terrible. And I can see that what we see in Israel, unfortunately, is the rise of fascism. And the proof to that is what you have seen yesterday when the Israeli fascists attacked even Israeli soldiers, because they wanted to investigate the cases of Deceit prison, or concentration camp, I should say, where Palestinian prisoners were tortured to death. They were beaten, they were starved, they were shocked with electrical shocks, they were hanged, and some of them had their hands amputated because of the chains that were put on them, and some of them were raped. Sexual abuse and rape happened in Israeli prison, Deceit, by Israeli soldiers. That's not my report, it's the Washington Post report. How could Israel live with that and still claims it is a democracy and claims that it is supporting human rights and that it is conducting a defensive war?
Next one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like we were saying before we watched either one of these videos, what hurts them the most is truth. And you really see it with the women. That blonde chick, she just shaking her head the whole time, trying to deny it. It's true. And what do he use? He'll use sources like humanitarian sources, government sources, even Israeli sources say these things, and they just sit there and deny it. You're the freaking worst people this earth has ever seen.
Deny.
Right. Remember he said in that movie, why didn't you tell us about Area 51? He said, plausible deniability. That's their thing. All right, last one. Unless you got something to say? Mm-hmm. Last one. Now, listen to this guy. It's kind of hard to listen to him because he's so soft-spoken. In 1948, they wanted everybody to go to the land of Israel. So listen carefully. This dude is telling you, we read about Mossad, right? They come from terrorists. And the military and the police were former terrorists. These people, you had communities of Jewish people everywhere. They were bombing and doing things to their own people in these communities to force them to go to the land of Israel so that they could make prophecy come true. Last video.
125,000 Iraqi Jews ended up in Israel. They arrived in Israel with one suitcase and 50 dinars. They had lost everything. And in 1950-51, 5 bombs exploded in Jewish premises in Baghdad. And there were persistent rumors in Israel, I knew this from my family and my relatives, that Israel had a hand in the bombs to force them to leave. And this fueled Arab, Iraqi Jewish resentment against the state of Israel. And I became obsessed with this question of who threw the bombs, not when I became a historian, but when I was a child. When I became a historian in 1982, when I spent a sabbatical year in the Israel State Archives in Jerusalem, I ordered a file called Iraq 1950. And I was told this file was closed. I asked the state archivist, why is it closed? Because more than 30 years have elapsed. And he said to me, I'll check. And the next day he said to me, because in this file there are some Mossad documents. And I thought, aha, there are Mossad documents. That's why they are trying to hide the truth. And I said to him, why don't you remove the Mossad documents and leave the foreign ministry documents? And he said, I'll check. The following day he came back to me and he said, I'm sorry, the whole file is closed and I cannot release any of the file. And I thought to myself, it's possible that there is a smoking gun in this file, which is why they don't want to release it. But I'm a historian. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So I suspended judgment until I started work on my autobiography. And then I came across 2 sources of evidence which implicate Israel in the bombings, in 3 out of the 5 bombs. One source was Yaakov Karkukli, an elderly Iraqi friend of my mother, who was in the Zionist he was an activist in the Zionist underground, and he told me in great detail about their activities, about the bribes they paid, about the documents they forged, about the action to accelerate, to enable first the illegal migration from Iraq, and then after 1950, the legal migration. Because in 1950, the Iraqi passed a law that said any Iraqi Jew wants to leave, there's a year to register and they can leave the country. So he was one source, and he said to me that he had a colleague named Yosef Basri, who was responsible for 3 out of the 5 bombs. And he
was responsible for 3 out of the 5 bombs. What more can we say? Like, this is a lot of stuff to take in, and there's a lot of stuff we don't even know.
Right. I mean, it's only so, like, well, this just covered a few situations over the last 80 years, and we only spent 2 hours on it. So it's
Yep.
That's I was alluding to that earlier. Like, it's just not transparent.
They the head and America's the tail. America's doing the same. That's why America has their back in everything. Everything. They the worst of the worst, man. Look, we're gonna go ahead and close out. This is some heavy stuff. You know, some heavy stuff on your mind. What do you think about? Oh yeah, you can play that, but last 2 scriptures, Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9. Same people back then, same people today.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works, and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. The book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie.
But do lie.
Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Right, the Lord's going to make it known that he loves us and not them. And what do we have to do? We got to put out righteous judgment on the face of the earth. It begins with our people. We got to gather together our people and get them to repent. And then when Christ comes back, the law is going to go out to all the nations, and they're going to have to be obedient. Only thing that's going to bring peace on the earth is first violence and then God's law. It's a lot to take in, y'all. You're going to have to watch this a few times. It'd be good to do it, though. Watch this a few times and really get this in your spirit. The most deplorable people on the face of the earth. And they can't hide their spirit. They can't hide it. Regardless of what they look like. They cannot hide it. I'm your brother Jacob.
Brother Roy.
And Brother Jose on OBS. With that, y'all, we say shalom.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
So he just told you the audience. He didn't say the whole world. He said, hear the words speaking to you, O house of Israel.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
This ain't me saying it, this ain't Pastor Porkchop saying it, nobody else saying this. The Lord said, learn not the way of the heathen. Now he said, we're the house of Israel. Outside of that is the heathen. It's the other nations.
Gather yourselves together, a nation of desire. Gather yourselves together and lift your hands up high. Gather yourselves together, nation of desire. Gather yourselves together, 'cause you're not alone. We've gone a week, yeah, in captivity. Captivity is tough, y'all. Looking forward to see Matthew 12 and 15.
But in the world,
and uphold one another.
For one cut of a tree out of the forest. One cut of a tree out of the forest. The work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
Right, so we talk about a tree. We're talking about a tree giving them personal like characteristics. Because people used to worship trees. These were idols. So then when we put this tree around, what are we representing? We're representing the same as that tree. So we gotta, now we know, all right, we shouldn't be idolizing trees. Well, we're just doing it for the kingdom, but what are you teaching them? Right.